this journey, this should take up, I mean, it shouldn't take up most of your time, but it should take up some of your thought process throughout the day. All right, this is going to be somewhat of an emotional video. I'm not going to get emotional, but I'm going to discuss and bare my soul with you a topic that I didn't think would come up in my journey with trying to be a competitive bodybuilder and just be overall have health and wellness in my life as a man in his late 40s, almost 50s. That's kind of an ugly topic to even mention right now. Anyhow, so I want to talk about depression and body image issues that are going to happen in your fitness, in your life, in your journey, especially if you're becoming a competitive bodybuilder, natural or otherwise. Now, for some backstory, when I first began my journey, I was extremely overweight, and then I lost the weight and got into great shape, best shape of my life, even though I was even in the Marine Corps back in the early 90s. I was in better shape in my transformation show back in 2019 at 45 years old than I was as someone in my early 20s in the Marine Corps. So go figure, right? And anyway, so during the off seasons these past couple of years, I've given myself license to have more than just 1 or 2 days a week where I've gone all out and enjoyed copious amounts of food and in all truth, a lot of copious amounts of alcohol as well. And what I've learned is that alcohol itself is a thief. All right, it steals so much out of you. I mean, we can have the argument that perhaps a glass of wine is healthful for you because of the, whatever mineral or vitamin that's in red wine or whatever. We can maybe have that argument. But how many people just have that one glass of wine? I know I don't. And heck, I don't even drink wine. I enjoy whiskey. So, again, the off season, there is no off season, but I was calling it an off season. I was calling it a bulking phase, whatever you want to call it. It was, I was allowing myself to just get a little bit too deep down the rabbit hole of eating more food than I needed. And it wasn't healthy. Now, this is where the depression sets in. You're noticing that you're getting bigger and you're trying to convince yourself that you're doing just fine because you're getting a little bit stronger in the gym and you're putting on size. Then you realize the 40 pounds or more that I've put on in the off season is going to have to come off. And let's just say out of those 40 pounds that I put on, I maybe, this is generous, put on 2 to 3 pounds of muscle. I'm a natural competitor at 48 years old. If I put on 1 pound of muscle in that off season, I'd be lucky. But let's just be generous, just because maybe I'm a genetic freak, which I'm not. Let's just say I got those 3. Now I got to lose 37 pounds just to show off those 3 pounds of muscle. What the heck? What kind of mentality was that, right? So if you want to talk about depression, it set in big time. I got up to just a little bit over 200 pounds before contest preparation started getting into full swing. I weighed 162 pounds when I got up on stage in 2021 for the Battle of the States in Indianapolis. And I don't know what I weighed when I won my pro card with Natural Muscle Association because I didn't care. I wasn't going to weigh myself. I was only 1 week away from that show after the Indy show. So I didn't even worry about it. I knew I was just fine. I just kept my diet intact and went to town. 2022, again, so I did the growing phase, if you will. I got a little bit more heavy than I wanted to, but I still kept it somewhat within the navigational beacons. And then when I went for contest prep, I didn't want to push myself as hard as I did the year before, and it showed. All right, it showed big time because I didn't push myself hard at all. And then I think I probably showed up around 182, 183, which in real world terms was great. I had a nice looking physique, and you know, I had muscle in the right places and stuff in the real world, you know, where you're wearing clothes. In bodybuilding, however, natural bodybuilding, I'm sure 5'9" and 180 some odd pounds as an enhanced bodybuilder, I'd probably look great. But as an unenhanced bodybuilder, 180 some odd pounds on a 5'9" frame, I was chubby, and it showed. You know, got last place, deserved it. You know what I mean? Deserved less than last place, if you want me to be honest with you. So, you know, it was good that I got into the game again because it put my mind right to be like, you know what, you are a bodybuilder, quit being a dipshit and get back into the swing of things. Now, fast forward just a couple of weeks after those shows, I got sent down to Louisiana for work, and I was still eating clean food, but I was eating copious amounts. I wasn't tracking my calories. And then get home, I'm in a hotel, and as opposed to just drinking water and going to bed, I was drinking whiskey and going to bed every single night. Some nights a little bit too much, and I was waking up with a horrible hangover. Other nights not that bad. But then I started blowing up with the weight, blowing up. Even though I was working out, even though I was getting in lots of steps, just blowing up. And then the scale got into play. And when it started showing me at like 190 something, I'm like, all right, calm down, you're okay. I shouldn't have thought that way. I should have just got right back into the swing of things. And then when I hit 200, massive depression set in. All right. I know that the scale is just a number, but knowing that I used to be almost 270 pounds and I never wanted to see 200 again, that really just hit me in the gut, in the feels hard. All right. Now, what have I learned from this? I've learned that there's no such thing as an off season to your health. There's no such thing as an off season if you're an athlete, all right, regardless of what sport you're in. There's no off season to your life, okay? Period. All right? So as a bodybuilder, as someone who's in a fitness journey, let's go to the bodybuilder first, then we'll go to the fitness journey thing. So as a bodybuilder, okay, walking around at contest shape all the time is impossible and it's unhealthy. Sorry guys, walking around at around 4% body fat, ripped all the time, as great as it looks, you're gonna kill yourself. I mean, might even literally, but your hormones are gonna be way the heck out of whack. Your body does need, you know, some amount of fat to function and for hormone production, all right? For men, I would say it's roughly around 10 to 15. For ladies, maybe upwards as much of a little bit over 20, all right? Ladies have a lot more hormone production going on than men do. Sorry, guys. You don't get to have those extra pounds and say you're doing it for your hormone production. You just don't. So for bodybuilders, what does that mean? That means when you're in your growing phase, just put yourself into a slight caloric surplus. Let's say maybe 300 calories a day, something like that, above your maintenance. So that way, the weight that you're putting on, and make sure you're getting the right macronutrients, of course, protein being the most important. That way, when you're putting on the size, most of the size you're putting on is good size, and the size you got to chisel away at won't be as hard to chisel away at, all right? Now, let's talk about, well, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, I'm just trying to get in a really good shape. Okay, then here's the thing. Start off, let's first just start from the beginning. Where are you at right now and where do you need to go? Are you excessively overweight? Okay, then let's get you lean. And then once we get you lean, we can go from there, right? So in fact, for anybody really, let's work on getting you lean and getting you healthy and then trying to maintain. Recognizing that you still should count, no matter who you are, you should count your calories and should be cognizant of the food you're taking in, all right? And what you're doing at this point is you're going to go ahead. I want you to continue to, track your calories, continue to exercise. And if you've already hit your healthful weight and you're already in a position where you are healthy, okay, give yourself 1 day a week where you have a meal, not a whole day, a meal that just doesn't matter. And that could have like a main course and a dessert. We can do that, right? But do that 1 day, because look, we're human beings. We're domesticated creatures, all right? We aren't like we used to be when we were first roaming the earth, having to hunt woolly mammoths to eat. We have become accustomed to life's, simple and maybe guilty pleasures, right? We have become accustomed to wanting that cheesecake or wanting that huge, plate of nachos at the Mexican food joint or whatever. We shouldn't deprive ourselves of those things, but we shouldn't indulge in those things all the time. All right? So that's where I go with on that. And again, for the main gaining people, that's a term that I stole off of Greg Doucette, full disclosure. The main gaining people, where you're trying to maintain your weight and gain some muscle. Even then, I would tell you maybe once every 2 weeks, have yourself that indulgent meal. But for the most part, you want to keep tracking your calories, stay within your maintenance calories, maybe a little bit over, and just keep tracking yourself. Take progress photos, weigh yourself on a regular basis, and track your progress in the gym and just about everything, all right? This journey, this should take up, it shouldn't take up most of your time, but it should take up some of your thought process throughout the day, all right? Your health is your greatest wealth, all right? Now, I understand that no matter how healthy we are, things happen, and no matter how healthy we are, we're all going to meet the same fate here in the physical realm, and we're all going to die. I get it. So perhaps, I want to enjoy my life a little bit. Who's to say you can't enjoy your life just because you're trying to be healthy? I've never understood that. Say, I want to live a little. Well, yeah, so do I. I'm going to eat pizza and stuff like that. But how is food equated to, so much of this living type thing? So anyhow, your health should be on the forefront of your thoughts on a very regular basis, because you only got this one life. You might as well make it a badass one. You only got this one body. You might as well look badass, right? And I guess that's kind of only where I'm going with that. Recognize, now here's the body issues thing that you're going to have, body image issues. When you're a competitive bodybuilder, it's very easy to identify yourself with how you look, all right, from head to toe. And when you don't look like that guy that was up on stage getting first place, it's going to mess with your mind. And so for you newbies out there, recognize that. Don't beat yourself up for it. But that's where the main gaining phase comes into play. Try to stay within the navigational beacons. Good friend of mine, Philip Ricardo, 4-time Mr. Natural Olympia. I came to him about this a couple of times because I got really depressed. And he was like, I try to stay within about 15 to 20 pounds of contest weight. So that way, when contest prep was around the corner, it's not that hard. And think about that. Contest prep, if you only got, say, 15 pounds to lose, you can do a 24-week contest prep and it'll be smooth sailing. Heck, you could probably do a 12-week contest prep if you only got about 15 to 20 pounds to lose, and it'll be smooth sailing. But if you got a lot of weight to lose, you are really behind the power curve and it's going to suck. At 24 weeks out, I was probably anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds over what I needed to be. It's a lot of weight to have to lose. I'm going to do it, but it's a lot of weight to have to lose. If I had discipline, which from here on out I have that, if I had discipline, I wouldn't have that problem. So I put it out on my Instagram and I put it out on my Facebook, and I told my friends, when it comes to alcohol, of course, I'd like to say that I'm never going to drink it again, but I know myself better than that. I'm going to go out with my friends on occasion, and I'm going to want to drink. But it used to be those occasions were just any day that ended in Y, all right? Now, it's once a week, twice a week tops. But if I don't feel like it, I don't do it at all during the week. All right. I'm a musician, and it's well established that musicians tend to enjoy partying a lot. Well, I'm supposed to be performing for a crowd, so no, I don't drink at my shows anymore either, because that's just dumb, and I don't give the crowd what they need. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you soon.